Hi guys, brand new versus classic cool. What's that all about? Very simple. I take a brand new car, something that gets the octane flowing through your veins, and just as you're convinced that you want one, I take a bucket of cold water and chuck it over your head. Metaphorically speaking, of course, I can't actually do that through the channel. Anyway, the point is that I suggest something else instead. Something that's cooler, more visceral, a motor with infinite cred. In previous episodes, I've compared a Mercedes C43 AMG Coupe to the 1980s 560 SEC, a Porsche 718 Cayman to an original Honda NSX, and the Mazda MX-5 against the Lotus Elise. This time, we're looking at the latest BMW M4 compared to a classic 911. Just before we get into that, disclaimer time, so I will just mention that a classic car could empty your bank balance faster than the Dodge Demon draining its tank on a drag strip due to maintenance, repair, restoration and even storage. But you could save a bit of money on insurance on a classic policy, for example. Plus, in the case of cars over 40 years old that I might recommend, you don't have to pay road tax or ULEZ in London. Most importantly, of course, good classics tend to go up in value over time, so they could actually make you money. Now, those other videos in the series that I mentioned, you'll find on this channel, which is youtube.com/browncarguy, and also on browncarguy.com. So make sure that you're subscribing. And in the case of YouTube, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any of my uploads. Also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even TikTok. Just search for my hashtag. It's on my hat and over there it's #browncarguy. And if you enjoy my content, then please consider sponsoring me. It's easily done at patreon.com/browncarguy. It's so cheap, it's like buying me a coffee once a month. You'd do that, right? Wouldn't you do that? Anyway, cool. Let's get into this. So the new 2021 BMW M4 Competition. Let's look past that controversial snout and talk about the fact that this has a 505 brake horsepower motor that can accelerate from rest to 62 miles per hour in just 3.9 seconds. And that's with a 3-litre straight 6. Now the regular M4 has only 487 brake horsepower, but in the UK we only get the M4 Competition. The reasoning being that everybody here would always opt for that version anyway, so why bother bringing in the standard car? So you get the 500 plus brake horsepower, plus only the 8-speed automatic, not the manual gearbox. This thing has a carbon reinforced plastic roof with rails to help airflow, along with heavily stiffened platforms, active differential for the rear wheel drive, wide tracks, and an M-Drive professional traction control system that has 10 settings including drift analyzer. Now, these cars cost £76,000, but of course, you'd never buy a bulk standard version. So for example, I went onto the website and I spec'd up my ideal version. Then I found out that most, if not all the options I wanted, I could actually get from just 2 special packages, the Ultimate Pack and the M Pro Pack. Now they cost £11,250 and £8,000 respectively. Then I added this paint finish, the most expensive one offered at £3,000, and finally the costliest alloys because they look a bit mental. Look how flowery they are. They are £850. Looks slick, right? But the price for this thing shot up to over £99,000. Amazing machine, but blimey, all that money and people are still going to laugh at that face. But let's go back to the 1980s and the original E30 M3. What a thing. And good ones will now set you back the same sort of money as the new M4 Competition. So you might have thought that I would recommend that as a cool classic alternative to the newer car. And I certainly won't deny that that's a very tempting option, and I wouldn't deny you getting one. However, let's go back to the yuppie 80s and look at why you even bought an M3 or even a 3 Series back then. And the answer was very simple. It's because you couldn't afford the car that you really wanted, which was the Porsche 911. Now, of course, if you couldn't even afford an M3 or even a 3 Series, you'd get a Golf GTI, but we'll save that for another video. You see, in the 1980s, the M3 would have cost under £30,000, while Porsche 911 started at well over that sort of money. So I'm going to say, buy the Porsche 911 instead of the new BMW M4 Competition. And I mean the ones before the 1989 964 Series 911. The ones before that. Why? Because, well, quite simply really, and frankly, I've got to confess, it's an entirely personal reason. Whenever I think of Porsche 911s, this is the car that I visualize in my head. To me, the ideal Porsche is a late 1980s Targa with the turbo look wide body and the whale tail. Or the M491 option, as it's called. It was introduced in 1984 for the Carrera 3.2. Also, it was called the SuperSport in the UK, though of course we all just called it the turbo look car. So why not actually just recommend the turbo, the 930 turbo, to be accurate? Oh, you know what? Go for it, definitely. But beware of two things. First, you might just about find one for the same money as the M4 Competition, but good ones of those are up to £150,000. And secondly, their reputation precedes them. Not for nothing were they the original widowmakers in the 911 range. When that turbo kicks in, you'd better be ready or wall to roll. But you could get the 3.2 with the wide wheel arches and a T-tray spoiler from the turbo car with the same stiffer suspension and uprated brakes. Today, if you can find one, or a good one, they can be had for well under £100,000 and even from around £65,000 for decent ones. For me, it also has to be the Targa. It just has to be the Targa. Because it just epitomizes the joy of driving a 911 in the 1980s. I mean, you want it to be seen in this thing. It's just so cool. And if you don't need the turbo look, then there's plenty of sweet Targas around, like those in the 60 to 70k range. There were some Targas with the turbo look, and for me, that's the holy grail of the 911 series. If I ever buy a 911, that's what it would be, ideally in white. So there you go. Let me know what you'd get instead of a new BMW M4 Competition. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit the like button and try to leave a comment. That would be awesome. Make sure that you're subscribing, of course. That's to youtube.com/browncarguy, and hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any of my videos. Whilst you're at it, also follow my blog, browncarguy.com, and of course follow me on social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even TikTok. Just search for my hashtag, of course, hashtag browncarguy. Hey, if you enjoy my content, then you know what? You could sponsor it, and you can do that at patreon.com/browncarguy and join these wonderful people scrolling up on the screen right now. Your name could also be here, along with Muhammad Ali Humaid, Partha Srinivasan, Tom Conway Gordon, Isaac Beauchard, Raza Adil, Muhammad Qasim Siraj Abbasi, and of course Mark Waddell. Go to patreon.com/browncarguy. It's from as little as £2, $2 a month. Price of a coffee. Hey guys, buy me a coffee. Why not? If you enjoy my content. If you can't do that, make sure you're continuing to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.